welcome everybody. It's Peter Crouch for the one and only Crash Course. Wow, feels like I've been away from the mic here for months and months and months. So the last time we were here all together, we had a guest in our studio. That guest was Chandler Ravone, the owner, operator of V&J Auto Body, one of our amazing sponsors here. I thought the interview went pretty well. I think we got a lot of information out there. Hopefully you caught it. If you didn't, I believe that is available on YouTube. I do see snippets of it on Instagram. All right. So, you know, whatever your flavor is, whatever your thing is, you know, go find it, check it out. All right. We brought him in. We brought Chandler in. Like I said, the V&J Auto Body has been one of the amazing sponsors of the podcast. They also were very, very supportive of the radio show back in the radio days, and they continue to support us, and we really appreciate that. So getting him in here was was a great thing for that, and also for him and the business V&J Auto Body, right? Because they are I've been saying for the longest time, I think they are a trailblazer in the industry. Okay, certainly they are what I would consider is a body shop that sets the pace for everybody else. All right, and then in the body shop industry, that in and of itself is, you know, somewhat of a fleeting thing, or it can be an enigma, because especially down here in the tri-state area, all right, in New York City, in New York, all right, we're coming to you from Long Island here. There is just literally a body shop on every corner, right? You've heard me talk about this. All right, so it's very difficult for you to differentiate yourself and create a lot of visibility. So I think bringing him in there gave us the opportunity to hopefully do that, you know, and create that visibility and separation from the rest of the pack by talking about, you know, these different subject matter that we decided to talk at that day. All right. So, like I said, if you didn't catch it, please go check it out. I think it's chock full of a lot of interesting little sound bites there that will hopefully inform you and your friends and family, so that you know why it's important to make the right decision when it comes to getting your car fixed. All right, when it comes to auto body. Hey, you know what? Today I want to humble things out a little bit here. All right, I know I tend to get a little. I was catching myself. I'm like, wow, I really do tend to get a little nutso on that, but that's cool. I think it's fun. I think it, you know, create a little friction there, a little energy, right? Because you don't want to sound, you don't want to get too plain and not obnoxious, but plain and boring, right? Nobody likes that. So we try and enlighten things here from time to time. I hope you appreciate that. We're gonna hopefully continue to do that. All right, energize the show with some unrelated topics, but I think topics that nonetheless people want to hear about, talk about, know about. Right, so we're gonna continue to work those things in. Today I want to when I said I wanted to humble the show a little bit. So, you know, if you've been following me, right, we've been doing this for I don't even know how long now. I'll tell you, I'm getting older. It gets harder and harder. Time just kind of collapses in on itself. And I'm going to say it's been over 3 years, right? Counting the radio show for 2 years or 2.5 years, and then it's got to be a year with the podcast. So, at any rate, if you know, hopefully you're here today, catching this episode, and you're saying to yourself, "Wow, this guy, really has informed us about a lot of stuff." And then that's what I've been doing, right? I always say we try and give the folks out there the information and knowledge you need and can use, and advice you can trust. And that's true. We're going to continue to do that. Okay. So what I mean by humbling the show is I want to kind of get back to that today and get back to the roots, but I have some very important information, I guess, surrounding that. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of tying that all in. All right. And what I mean by important is I talk about a lot of things that evolve in the industry as far as the body shop side, and also the insurance and legislatively speaking, right? If you live here in New York State, I talk about Regulation 64 and the Unfair Claims Practices Act. We're very fortunate here in New York, folks, because we do have, I would say, I'm going to get to that today. I would say we're fortunate to have regulation in place that protects us, the consumer, okay, against the big bad insurance company, and it protects you against the body shop. I've talked about that. Okay, it's a dual purpose regulation, right? It protects the consumer against the insurance companies and the body shop, and also gives the body shop a place to go to. Not as much anymore. We're going to get to that. All right. So, but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are happening on the insurance side, and you're never going to hear from your insurance company, right? And I've talked to you guys about this, on and off in different forms and fashions about how I know it's a very dry subject. And believe me, before I got involved in the insurance industry, the only thing I knew about insurance is you had to have it, right? You couldn't drive your car. So I understand that it's not a topic that most people talk about or even give a shit about and everything. But I've tried to stress that we need to get over that. I think, from a personal standpoint, even, I know I talk professionally here, but I'm talking personally. I think that everybody really needs to be more involved in this. And I think that comes from 10 years of being on the body. I can't believe, holy shit, 10 years I'm on the collision side now, working in the body shop. Fucking crazy. All right, and then my, 26 years, 27 years, 28 years, whatever the hell it is, I would say maybe 30 years on the insurance side. So, I think it's fair to say I have a soapbox to climb up on, right? We'll put it like that. I think it's fair to say I have a soapbox that I can climb up on and give an opinion about a lot of stuff as it relates to those type of things, that subject matter. So, and that's what I do here. And so what I'm trying to say to you, to the folks out there is, yes, it's not the most exciting stuff, okay, but today more than ever, I really feel on a personal level, and again, professionally speaking, that that if you're not involved in this, okay, if and what I mean by involved, if you don't know what you're paying for, why you're paying for it, if you don't really understand why your car shouldn't really be fixed at shop A versus shop B, if you don't really comprehend what your and I's rights and expectations are when it comes to these things, I think that needs to be, that we need to correct that. All right, we really do. And again, that's really personal. All right, now forget the professional side of it. I'm speaking from a personal side. All right, I really think, because what I see happening in the last 5 years, forget about the industry as a whole, from when I started back in '86. But even in the last 5 years, and I think I warned everybody about this when I started on the radio show, and shit, that's 3 years already. And I said that things were going to start to happen at lightning speed, right? And that's because of a lot of things, right? Technology, and now you got this artificial intelligence crap out there. And I've talked about the insurance industry. It's an industry like any other, right? It's a business like any other. So what I mean about humbling the show is I want to make sure that the folks, that everybody really gets the message here. We're starting a new year, it's 2025, and so what I'm going to discuss here, what I'm going to reveal to you here today, all right, in my opinion, okay, and like I said, with all my experience, I think I have a soapbox to climb up on. So in my opinion, based on what I know and based on what I see happening on the insurance side, okay, and we'll talk about the body shop side of that also, but the insurance side is what really concerns me, and why I think it's more important today than ever before to really give a shit about all this. Right? I get it, believe me. I talk to my family, I talk to my friends, and I get the same thing. Everybody laughs. Fucking insurance companies. What are you going to do? You got to pay them, they're rat bastards. That's great. I get it. It's funny, haha. But we're spending more money, folks. All right, wake up. Listen up here. We're spending more money now than we've ever spent on insurance. I've quoted this. Okay, since 2021. All right, now listen up. Since 2021, your insurance premium. I don't give a shit how great of a driver. I don't get in accidents. I don't get tickets. I drive 20 miles an hour. I go from the pizzeria back to my apartment. That's great, terrific. From 2021 to the present, okay, car insurance premiums on average. Now I stress on average because it could be a little lower, it could be a lot higher, depending on where you are in the country. On average, though, the National Highway Traffic and Safety Bureau has said that on average, premiums have gone up 48% since 2021. Okay? Now, if that doesn't concern you, I don't know what would. All right. I mean, maybe I know I'm talking from Long Island here, and it seems like a lot of people print money over here today. That's great. Terrific. Happy to hear that. But I think most people are pretty shocked. All right. I know the people that come into my shop, they're shocked. Okay. It's a constant thing that we hear about. A constant narrative that keeps coming up. My insurance premiums, holy shit, I can't believe they went up that high, and I haven't had an accident, I haven't getting tickets. Doesn't matter. They went up, and they're going up again. In fact, they're supposed to go up another 5 to 10% between now and 2026. That's a lot of money, folks. If you don't look at your insurance policy, you better start looking. Even if you got a lot of money, you might want to check that out. All right, and that's why, you know, some of the shit that I'm going to reveal here today, hopefully, is going to reinforce that. Why we need to be a little more involved. And, you know, and I know, like I said, my family and my friends, they all say, well, what are we going to do? You know, if you don't pay it, you can't drive your car. You know, if you're not insured and you kill somebody, or you get hit and the other rat bastard doesn't have any insurance, you're not going to be able to get your car fixed. True, all true, right? It's all true. The only one thing I would take issue with is when people say to me, well, what are you going to do? You have to pay it. Yeah, but, okay, and there's always a but, right? It's always that but. There are options, okay? And I've talked about this. You can go back or way back, all right, find the shows. I've talked about this when it comes to the options, all right, and why in my opinion, it's more advantageous if you utilize a broker, an independent agent rather than these exclusive agents today. Right? Maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, not so. But today, without a doubt, because these people can shop the market, folks. They can shop the market. I mean, they can shop across state lines. They changed the law on that decades ago. They can now go across state lines and shop insurance products from other areas of the country and offer you a lot better outcome. All right. So I don't want to hear, hey, I got to pay it. What the hell am I going to do? Not necessarily. All right. You can do your homework, and sometimes you can find a better deal for yourself. All right. But I think what I'm trying to say here is, because these premiums are going through the roof, regardless of what we do, regardless of who you are. When I started at V&J, I used to be able to tell people, right, I'm getting in front of my skis. I'm getting over my skis here. All right, so let's get to. I don't want to go long in the tooth here, so I want to get to what I need to get at when I said I'm humbling the show today. All right. So this right here, okay, this is Reg 64. All right. Rules and regulations of the state of New York Insurance Department, unfair trade practices. Right there, folks. That's it, okay? That's to protect you and I, right, and to a lesser extent the body shops. All right? And thank goodness for that. Because like I said, a lot of other states, it's the wild, wild west. And believe me, the insurance companies pretty much steer the ship in a lot of other parts of the country, so we're very fortunate. That document that I just showed you contains all of the rules and regulations that insurance companies in the state of New York have to adhere to when conducting business here. All right? Now, in business, we mean, in this context, we mean not selling, but we mean settling claims with you and I. Okay? It's comprehensive. It's detailed. I'm no lawyer, I'm not no legal brain trust, but I'm going to say there are definitely parts of it that are ambiguous, okay? There are definitely parts. Now, I know lawyers put this together, and they probably did that on purpose, and there are areas that are ambiguous, and yours truly attacked parts of that ambiguity. All right, if you follow me here, you know that I was working with Assemblyman Gandolfo, and we tried, unfortunately, unsuccessfully, to get aspects of that ambiguity corrected, so that the body shops on Long Island would be in a better position financially to help their customers. It involved paint materials, and of course they got all shot to hell. They had a whole brigade of lawyers basically assault Gandolfo and his. I think he had like 12 sponsors sign on to his proposal to the Department of Financial Services to change certain parts of the regulation, and they casually and professionally told him to basically get lost. So last I heard, he was going to try and draft some legislation out of committee. I don't know where that is. I will reach out to him again. I haven't spoken to him in a number of months. I think the last time I saw him was at a fundraiser. How funny is that, right? Fundraiser. Gave him money and then, whoop, never heard from him again. But I'm going to follow up and, hopefully we can resurrect that. But yeah, so there are ambiguities in there. But listen, it's better than nothing, right? This regulation is what protects you and I. All right, and what I'm going to say here is very important, and this is why I said earlier in the show that I really feel, all joking aside, that seriously, folks, I mean, on a personal level, I really feel that we all need to take a much more active role in this anymore. All right, what do I mean by in this? I mean your insurance company, right? Your policy, right, that we all pay for. And if you're young, if you're a young person out there and you're listening to me, terrific. I want to get more young people on here. I want to get more you guys and you girls involved. All right, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm talking about, because this affects you. I know when you're younger, I've been there. You don't really give a shit, right? You're like, well, I'm not worried about that now. Okay, it might be so, but you are going to worry about it someday. You're going to have a family, or you're going to have a spouse, or you're going to want a house. Or even if you don't want a house, you're going to want an apartment, fancy apartment, or maybe a townhome. All right, anything. It's all going to involve insurance, folks. Everything comes down to insurance. Okay, especially if you're financing something, can't get it without having it insured, because you don't own it. Somebody else does, and they want to protect that, whatever the asset is. Right, a home, a boat, car, whatever the asset is, got to be backed up by something if you don't have the cash to do that. So what we're saying about humbling everything is, in the last 5 years, there's been a lot of really troubling, I would say, developments, all right, here in New York with regard to the insurance industry, insurance companies, okay? And it's going to affect you, right? It is. It already is, okay? And the insurance companies, they don't tell you this stuff, folks. I tell you. They don't tell you. I tell you this. All right, and this is what I mean by... I think we all really need to start being more involved in this, all right? And you've heard me say this time and again, but I really think because of what I see going on now, this is more important than ever before, right? I mean, I always say shop your insurance, right? You should be looking at your policy every 6 months. Shit changes. I just told you from 21 to now, the insurance premiums went up 48%, and they're going up another 5 or 10 this year alone. All right? Think about if your mortgage went up that much, or your rent went up that much, or your grocery bill, or your gas bill, or your oil bill, anything. Go on and on and on. Right? You'd be losing your fucking mind. I would. They'd probably be riots in the street and everything by now. But, I don't know. It just seems like with insurance, everybody's, blasé about it. Like, well, I don't know. What am I going to do? I got to pay it. I can't drive. I can't have a house. I can't do this. Okay, but there are things we can do, okay? And some of the developments that I see in the last 5 years are very, very troubling, and you need to know about them, all right? So here we go. All right? And remember, I'm here for the folks, right? We're giving you knowledge and information you can use and advice you can trust. I'm going to tell you shit. I tell you shit that nobody else is going to tell you, all right? Your body shop's not going to tell you that. Well, if you go to a Collision Service Network body shop, they're going to tell you that. All right, especially, of course, if you come to V&J Auto Body, well, you get to see little old me. All right, and that goes without saying. All right, you're going to be handled from top to bottom with kid gloves. So here's some of the stuff that's going on. All right, I'm going to wrap up the show here today. Here's some of the things when I said humbling the show. Okay, I showed you Reg 64. Now listen to me. All right, after I just told you Reg 64 is the controlling entity, and this thing right here is what protects us, right? And blah, 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 blah. Terrific. Great. Folks, hear me when I tell you, the insurance companies in New York State, all right, have decided, that they're not playing by this rule book anymore. Right here. This. They're not playing by it, folks. Okay? Reg 64. Unfair trade practices. Okay, it should really say unfair claims practices. They've decided they don't want to play by that anymore. Right? And you're probably sitting there scratching your head right now. Okay, great. Well, what the fuck's that got to do with me? Well, here we go. This is what it has to do with you. Your car gets in an accident. You call your insurance company. Hey, I got in an accident. Oh, that's terrible. You okay? Yeah, great. And what do I always say? Right from the beginning of that call, they're already thinking of ways to what? Cut costs, right? Insurance companies do one thing very good. They look for ways to cut costs when, where, and often. So they've decided that they're going to decide what parts of this they have to be concerned about, right? Now, why that's important for you and I is because that could mean you having to pay more money. That could mean your car might not be fixed satisfactory, right? Or maybe not to industry standards, or certainly not to the way you would like your car fixed, right? There's also time implications there, right? What I mean by time implications? Well, if you get hit by some jackass and he's at fault and you decide, hey, I want him to pay, great, no problem. And his insurance company doesn't consider you a priority. So you know what they tell you? You can go scratch your ass. We're not going to come see your car. Folks, I'm telling you right now, this is what's going on, all right? So here's what's happening. The regulation establishes the guidelines for what insurance companies need to do or how they need to act, all right, and perform when it comes to dealing with you and I when we have a claim. So they're deciding now that they're going to sidestep some of this stuff so that it fits them. So here's some of the changes that I've seen in the last 5 years. If you are a claimant, what do I mean by claimant? Well, you're somebody that's putting a claim in against somebody else. They damaged you, they hurt you, right? Classic example, you get rear-ended at a light, right? Fuck him, I'm going to put it into his insurance, I'm not going to pay. Terrific. Now, in the good old days, great. I used to tell people that all the time. They come into V&J, yeah, we're going to go third party, man. Make that son of a bitch pay. Oh, that's great. Folks, listen up. Here's what goes on now. You decide you're going to file through the other guy's insurance, okay? You put the claim in. Car drivable? Yeah, terrific. Send us photos and we'll send you an estimate. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, then we're not going to see your car. What do you mean? You have to. No, we don't. You're not insured with us. We have 30 days to accept or deny the claim in full. So you know what that means? They're going to sit on their ass for 30 days and decide whether or not they want to handle your claim. Now, if you have an alternative, you have coverage on your car, you could go to your insurance company and go through your coverage, your collision coverage. But if you don't, you have no alternative. You're at their mercy. See? The other thing is they're just flat out refusing to send out adjusters anymore. They're just telling you, we're not coming out. But we're going to be out in 2 weeks. Right? Now, it's illegal. They can't. The guideline is 6 days. Exclusive of holidays. All right, and weekends. So, now why is that important? Well, I hopefully I don't have to explain it, but I mean, there's the time element, right? So they're going to expand the timeline now. And if you don't like it, tough shit. Go through your own insurance. I don't have insurance. Okay, well, I guess you're dealing with us then. So they're going to now tell you when they're going to see your car. All right? That's a problem. And some of these companies have even been caught trying to do this to their own insureds. Okay? They try and tell you they don't have anybody in the area, we don't have anybody in the field anymore, we don't have guys that can do that. It's all bullshit. But they're going to tell you that and they're going to press the issue. All right, the other thing here that's going on is you got a company like Allstate now that turned around and said, well, we're only paying $1,000 anymore. Okay, this is what I mean, folks. Listen up. Okay? Now, your broker ain't going to tell you this. When you go into an Allstate agent, hey, how you doing? I want to be in good hands. Oh, great. No problem. Not really. You ain't in good hands, trust me. Okay? Right now, Allstate and State Farm are, I'll just say this. They are coming up with some of the most egregious business processes that I've seen in probably 20 years. Right? Now, between the two of them, they've come up with some winners over time. All right, but these things take the cake, folks. Okay? Now, they've both been sued. They've both been sued at the ass, all right, and lost. Okay? They've lost. Class action suits, they've lost. But those are time things. They take years to be resolved. All right, and that's for another show. I can inform you about that stuff. So Allstate and State Farm have some highly egregious business practices right now. All right, so Allstate, you need to be aware the charges. All right, again, your agent ain't going to tell you this. When you take out the policy, hey, I want to be in good hands. My buddy told me I should come in. I saw the commercial, the Mayhem guy. I don't want to be part of Mayhem. Oh, okay, good. Sit down. Here you go. Here's your policy. You're in good hands. No, you're not. He don't give a shit though, because you know what his job is? To sell. And he just sold you a policy. Bye. And when you have a claim, he's going to be MOA, basically. MIA. MOA. Fuck is MOA? MIA. He's going to be missing in action. He's going to be on the golf course or some agency meeting down in the Caribbean or some shit. And anyway, the point here is, folks, I'm telling you shit that you ain't going to hear from somebody else, all right? So now you get in an accident and you're at some ratbag place and they bang out $1,500 in storage and towing and fees and that. Allstate turns around and says, no problem. Here you go, man. Here's $1,000. Well, wait a minute. $1,000. The guy's charging $15,000. Well, yeah, but we only pay $1,000 charges. Since when? Well, since we decided. Whoops. Whoopsie. So now on top of your deductible, you got to write the shop a check for $500, so you're not getting your car back, right? And if it's a total, you know what they do? This is even better, folks. Check this out. If it's a total, then they turn around and say, hey, Mr. Jones, this guy's a real scumbag over there. He won't release the car, and so we're going to take the extra $750 in charges. We're just going to take that off your total loss settlement. Now, that's illegal. So they have to go in illegal, but they'll do it. And hopefully you don't bother going to court, or you don't have the time, or you don't have the wherewithal or the money. And you're scratching your head. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right. And there you go. All right. Illegal and unethical, but they'll do it. All right. So you're going to get screwed on a total loss, screwed on a regular claim. What else is going on? State Farm. State Farm just announced recently that they're not going to bother with getting agreed prices anymore. So are you insured with State Farm? Are you listening to the show and you're insured with State Farm? Listen up. They're not going to give a shit. They're not going to give a shit about you. That's what they just said to us. Their adjusters are telling us they had a meeting, and it looks like the general consensus is agreed prices are nice. We don't really care. If they happen, great. If they don't, tough shit. We're going to send a notice of rights to the insured. So you're going to get a notice of rights. You don't know what the hell that is, right? You don't. I do. You don't. Okay? So when that little ditty shows up in the mail, woo! Not good, folks. You get a notice of rights. That means the insurance company is letting you know. All right? We're going ahead with screwing you, but we're also letting you know that we're reserving our rights as it pertains to the policy, blah, 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 blah. All right? It's another ditty. A no AP, folks. The insurance company says we could not reach an agreed price with your body shop. You're screwed. You're screwed. They're basically walking away and saying you're on your own. Guy wants $8,000. We're offering $6,500. He can go F himself. Have a nice day. That's it. And you're going to call up, hey, what the fuck? I pay insurance? I know you do. But this guy's a jackass and we're not working with him. Click. I know I'm boiling this down to its least common denominator. It's a lot more complicated than that. But I'm trying to get the word out here, folks. These are some of the things. Remember what I said in the beginning? I'm humble in the show today. All right? I'm trying to let you know that these are some things that have just recently come to light in the last 5 years. I would say in the last year, some of this shit just really reared its head. But the reason why when I said I'm humbling this, and the reason why I'm telling you this, is these things are now personally going to affect you and me and everybody else, your friends and family. Now it's going to impact you, right? Because I know the narrative always was, well, I don't give it, I pay insurance. I bring my car to the shop, they fix my car. Great, no problem, fix your car. However, the insurance companies though have other ideas. And again, remember this, I said this was the controlling entity. Not anymore. Insurance companies have decided that they're gonna decide what they have to abide by in this. Okay? And sadly, there's really very little options available anymore because thanks to Governor Cuomo, who blew up the Department of Insurance, he literally got rid of it. And he merged it with the Department of Financial Services, which, to those people's credit, they really don't know what the hell much about insurance, because DFS, Department of Financial Services, was really an entity of its own, handling just what it says, right? Licensing for financial services. So if, like myself, I'm a licensed adjuster, any businesses that are doing, any industries that are doing business in New York that have financial interest, that type of thing. Now all of a sudden, hey, by the way, you're now the insurance department, all right? So good luck with that. You as a consumer, I as a body shop, I don't even have an option to complain anymore. You still do? Good luck. All right? So, you got charges being restricted, timelines being extended, you have the negotiating process being basically abridged. They don't give a shit, okay? You also have both Allstate and State Farm deciding that they're no longer going to allow for color blending. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means if I paint your car and I have to put a new door on or a new fender and it doesn't match, they don't give a shit. They're not going to pay. Well, oh well. Guy's got a two-tone car now. I guess if you like two-tone colors, you're going to be in business, right? I don't. I think I don't want anything two-tone. But if you do, then you'll be fine with these policies. Okay, so again, folks, what am I getting? What's the common denominator here? These things are now affecting you personally. You come to my body shop and you have State Farm or Allstate, there are things that they're doing now, all right? Business processes, business practices that they're adopting that are going to, they're designed to save them money, folks. Remember what I said about the insurance guys? These things, don't kid yourself, all these things are designed to do one thing, contain cost. But they're doing it now on your back. So now these things are going to begin to hurt you. All right? The no AP thing is very bad, folks. You get a notice of rights letter in the mail, it's not good. All right? Now there's an alternative for that. We'll talk about that in the next show. There is an alternative in your policy your insurance company doesn't want you to know about. All right? And more, I'm happy to see, at least I've been told, I haven't personally been involved in this process in quite a while, both on the professional side or on the body shop side. I mean, insurance side as an adjuster and the body shop. But I've been told that this process is beginning to come back into vogue again. It's becoming more commonplace, and I'm happy to see that. And we'll talk about that in the next show. All right, but I wanted people to understand what's going on here. Okay, it's important. You guys got to understand. You got to get this. You got to get this now. Things are super expensive, right? Come on. I know we got a lot of money here in Long Island, but things are still off the rails, right? And I just told you what the insurance premiums are like. And now on top of that, the insurance companies are coming up with creative ways to not pay you. All right? Or to not engage in the claim effectively so as to leave you holding the bag, all right? The old cliche, don't get stuck holding the bag. All right, so there's a lot of really bad stuff going on out there. Now, other insurance companies like Progressive, Nationwide, Hartford, USAA, they have their own peculiarities. I know USAA, I used to work there for 14 and a half years. All right, they are not very user-friendly anymore. All right, it's very difficult for us to communicate to them on behalf of our customers. All right, and even their own policyholders are becoming aggravated now. USAA's thing is the same thing again. Take photos, send us photos, we'll get you an estimate, and then we tell them, no, we don't want that, we want an adjuster, well, we don't want to send an adjuster. Folks, this is shit that goes on. Again, this affects you. You come to my body shop, hey, I'm going to stand in your shoes, I'm going to fight the good fight. But the reality is, when they decide that they no longer want to recognize this regulation, they don't want to agree to the format, to the rules, okay, or they want to change the rules or interpret the rules differently, that affects the body shop industry deeply, which in turn has an impact on you, the consumer. All right, and again, you're not going to hear this shit anywhere else. You're only going to get this on Crash Course, right? Because that's what we do here. You're not going to hear this from your agent. You're not going to hear this from your broker. He don't want you to hear this because you're not going to want to buy a policy from him. But this is what's going on, folks. You got to smarten up. And we all have insurance. So we're all in the same quagmire, all of us. We're all in the same quagmire. And if you work at these insurance companies, well, you know, I don't know what to tell you. All right, been there, done that. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff that, like in the last, I would say, I said 5 years, but I would say in the last couple of years, these are some of the things that are happening now. All right? And I know with Allstate, it's written into the damn policy now. State Farm's thinking of doing the same thing. Folks, it's in the policy. Listen up. You don't even know that. You're signing off and paying, and then all of a sudden, your car ends up somewhere and you're getting hit with a $1,000 bill or $800 bill because Allstate says, no, we only pay $1,000, look in your policy. Folks, they're always going to tell you that. You got to read your policy. You're supposed to read the policy. Okay. So, it's almost like they think they're the police department. Some ignorance is no excuse under the law. I swear, when they used to tell me to tell people that, you know, remind them that they're supposed to read the policy. Oh, okay. Great. I know when I took out insurance for my own, when I was working in the insurance industry, I'm pretty sure my agent never ever said to me, make sure you read the policy when you get home. When you got nothing to do on the weekend, read it. Get the hell out of here. They don't tell you that. They don't even show you the policy anymore. I don't even know where the hell I can get a hold of a policy anymore. That's how pathetic shit's become. They're selling. So not only, think about it, folks, not only was insurance an intangible product to begin with, you can't even find it anymore, even if you wanted to. It's nowhere. They don't mail it to you. They used to mail it to you. They don't mail it to you. They don't give it to you. It's fucking hysterical. All right, we're going to end it there. I hope you got something out of that. All right, next episode, I'm going to be sure to, all right, make sure you check in on the next episode because we're going to discuss the process in our policy, our automobile policies, the process that's built in there that's available to you and I, all right, to remedy some of this stuff. And I'm going to go into some detail about that. Everybody needs to know about this. I'm not going to disclose what it is. There's people out there listening to me that are probably laughing and saying, I know what it is. It's very important. Haven't heard it used much in probably 30 years, but I hear it's coming back, and I'm super excited to hear that because it really needs to start becoming more commonplace to push back on this. All right, folks, I hope you got something out of that, and see you on the next episode.